Hey, what's up, everybody? I just wanted to share. This is actually my first episode. This is for my channel. It's called Just Be, and Just Be is all about that. It's about just being, about just sitting with the presence that is aware of all experience. And yeah, the monkey mind has spent a lot of time and put in a lot of work to attempt to curate the perfect video with the perfect explanation. And there's just a recognition that that's not what this is about. I'm not here to market to you. I'm not here to try to get anything out of this or get anything out of you. This is a rare time in life where there's nothing to get, there's nothing to be had. There's probably going to be a lot of things that go over the head, which is really essential. So, just to give you a little story about the story, I was like raised in a pretty religious household with a lot of beliefs and a lot of great family values, virtues, and principles. And, as I got older, I had these mystical experiences, which did change the trajectory of the appearance of my separate life. And they kept leading me to enlightenment. They kept leading me to that there's a way to transcend this reality. And I was stuck on that path, following that path for a very, very, very long time. And, this is in no way to like shit on a path, right? Or like to hate on a path, but it's kind of like that saying where it's like if you see the Buddha on the road, kill the Buddha. Nothing really changes. And I'm not here to say that I'm at any specific level or I'm at any specific understanding point, within the journey. This is all about letting go of the path. It's all about letting go of the journey and realizing, this separate narrative that you've been following throughout your whole life, especially as you get older. This main character that you've created becomes so solid, becomes so important. Lately, for the dream character, it hasn't really held as much weight as it used to. It hasn't held as much water. Just like it said, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Nothing changes. And the thing is nothing has ever changed. If you look at your experience, right, the people, places, and things that you've experienced over time, they've changed, they've modulated, they've oscillated. But what has changed, what hasn't changed, what hasn't oscillated over time? It's not a question of the mind. It's not a question of hey, what's up, baby? Hi. I'm making a little episode. Can I get a tidbit of space? Love you. Bye. In a little bit, I'm just making a video. If I could have a little bit of space, it would be mucho appreciated.
Look what I found in our new kitchen.
Very nice.
Well, guess what it is?
It's a bird.
No, this was fun.
What?
This was fun.
Oh man, that's awesome. Oh wow, that's really cool.
What does it say?
Hot cakes.
Ooh, I love cake.
All right, thank you, sweetie pie. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Cool. So Yeah, back to what I was saying. I was talking about what doesn't change. So if you look at experience and you ask what doesn't change, the mind is going to come up with a million things, right? Or a million ways to interpret that. But this is all about just letting go of it needing to be a certain way, right? Letting go of the need and the search for positive thoughts, the search to release negative thoughts, the search to become a better version of yourself. Let it all go without needing to even let it go. It's not a workout. It's just a seeing of what's all before this. Before I create all the meaning to everything that I see, to everything that I perceive, what is it that's looking? Because it's actually nothing. It's nothing that's looking. There's nothing solid here. The claiming of the I, me, and mine, that's what wraps us up. That's what hypnotizes us. It's almost like a tea kettle. And we mistake ourselves for the water that's in the tea kettle. So when the temperature goes up, we rise with it. And eventually, whether it's an emotion or an experience or a stimulus, we eventually become so identified with it that we get lost in the character of that emotion. And that's been, I guess, the intriguing part about it all is there's been a few shifts for the character, right? There's been a few wake up calls or awakenings. And at first, it's almost just like a dissolving, even though nothing dissolves, it's almost just like a dissolving of all the solidity that you've built up throughout your whole life. All the chapters you've written, you realize that these chapters are not scripture. They're more like a river than a stagnant lake. They're always in movement, they're always in flux. And that's the wild part is even after there were these wake up calls, there would be these moments of peace. But then after that, the character would want to share that peace with others. And in a way, it created a whole nother story. It created a whole nother narrative around that. And I guess I could say when I had my last big whack, it was for about like 6 to 8 months that there was just this feeling of spontaneity. Nothing was really sticking in my life. Like there were emotions and things that would happen and come up, but there was nothing, there was no adhesive, there was no glue of like, for example, right? It's like if I would feel anger, be like, I'm aware of this anger. There's joy, I'm aware of this joy, but there would be no I am my anger or I am my joy. But the more I kept telling the story, I realized that I went through some personal things where there was a loss of a loved one, and there was just this sense of going from bliss to like a sense of like melancholy, no ground to stand on, like very disorienting. But the story that I kept telling it carried into that feeling of melancholy. So the character identified with the story of bliss, the story of peace, the story to an end of seeking. And then when the appearance that happened with an awareness of that story changing or modulating, all the things that I felt that I had gained, the dream character felt it had gained, had no it's almost it almost just like it felt like all the work, all the appearance of work that had happened had just fallen away. uh and it was wild because it's like it almost feels like there's a knowing that comes up, but then when the character gets involved, that knowing almost just like you almost get amnesia from it. There was just that crystal clear clarity. Almost feels like you had like some form of amnesia that happened to you. So that's just a little background on what what's happened, to the dream character on a relative sense. But just be is really all about understanding the nature of your being. And we get so caught up in the doing and the acting and the roles and all the things that we take on throughout the day that we don't necessarily just reside in being, or just come from being and then move into the doing. So I'm excited to just continue to share more with you guys. And through, I guess the perceiving of becoming, you realize that there's gives you a lot more freedom, because you realize that there's nothing specific to become, and that everything is already whole as it is. Everything is already whole as it is. And once there was just this recognition that there is no you, there is no me, there is no center, then you just realize that this is life dancing with life. And whether you like it or not, like, life is going to do its dance. It's going to have all kinds of choreography that the self is not going to agree with. But what we look for is we look for wholeness in objects. We look for wholeness in people, places, and things. And that wholeness is temporary. That wholeness is temporary. Because as the perceived subject, we look for objects in order for that completion. And all I can say is you just have to realize that what's looking is what you were looking for. What is already looking is what you were looking for. We rolling now, baby. We rolling now. And that's why I'm happy to share this, is because I don't feel like there's any need to sell anything. This is not a popularity contest, and this is not something that is going to be marketed to the masses, or something that a lot of people are going to be that interested in general, because it's not a thing. It has nothing to do with thingness. When I talk about nothing, right, there's nothing. Pointing at no thing. Pointing at all these lines that you've considered a barrier, no thing, nothing to it. And the thought as arose from that is like when people really get into something, whether it's a religion or music or sports or whatever it is, it's just like this thing that gives this sense of there's no me in it, right? It's like when you see Jordan, right? You see Jordan and he's just nothing but net. The shooting at the hoop felt like it was the ocean, because there was no one there, right? Or when somebody gets really, into their relationship with a deity or a practice, there's almost just like a melting of the subject-object dichotomy, and then there's nothing there to hold that self-importance anymore. The block has been taken out of the the block has been taken out of the mountain of Jenga pieces, and it's all crumbled down now. And now when there's a picking up of the pieces, it's not you, it's that which is higher, it's that which is deeper, that which is greater than this perceived self. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will definitely be putting some more videos together, have some interviews, poetry, and a few other things I'm going to be sharing. So just be, much love and peace.